Hello, you hottie hot hotties, and welcome to Wild&T with Tawny.
Kara.
And Teddy. Hello. We are still in spring, and today we're gonna kick it off with Tawny's obsessions. Tawny's obsessions. And talk about her spring chickens. Take it away.
So I actually have had these chickens for a year, in March. So it's been over a year since I've had my original 8, and I don't know when I got the last batch of them. But anyway, so it's been an interesting year. You know, we grew up with chickens, and so it wasn't anything new to me, at least so I thought, getting chickens. And I was so excited having our own house and our own property because I was able to get chickens. It was one of the first things that we did after we moved in and spring came around. I was like, we are getting chickens. And shockingly, we have all of them. I mean, I think one, when we first got them as a joking gift from a friend at a party, did pass away, one of the babies, and then we got rid of our 2 roosters. But the rest of them, they're all hens. I have 13 now, and they are all the most clingy chickens I've ever met in my life.
They're pretty good odds for keeping that many alive, so kudos.
Yeah, I'm shocked. Like, even through the winter, they thrived. They would, get all fluffy as chickens do in the winter. We also didn't put any heaters in the coop because that can affect their ability to regulate their temperature. It's weird though, because chickens molt in the winter. So I'm like, you're losing feathers, but it's cold outside. That doesn't make any sense to me. When we went and visited Tara for Christmas, we came back and there were feathers all over the coop. And I was terrified at first. I was like, oh my gosh, we have to do a head count that we didn't lose any of the chickens while we were gone. But no, they just molted. So there were feathers everywhere. So, spring weather, once it actually warms up, which it has not yet, which I'm really tired of, will mean cleaning up the coop, and we're just going to do some improvements to the run and whatnot. But so some funny stories, and the reason why I'm obsessed with my chickens specifically, again, they are super clingy and they have the funniest personalities. So they've discovered that if they yell, there's one in particular that will like scream just all day. She'll just scream for no reason. And so you go out there and you check on them, and she screams if they don't have food, they don't have water, or they just want treats. So they have discovered that if they yell at me enough, yeah, treats, exactly. If they yell at me enough, then I'll bring them something. And that one blows my mind a little bit. And my chickens, they like to dig
already.
Pretty much,
you were the trainer. The trainees surpassed the trainer.
Pretty much. My chickens like to dig, and they had dug underneath their run so that there was this little hole that they could squeeze out of, the brave ones, right? And we kept putting things in there like dirt, and they would just dig. We would put like cinder blocks, and they would dig a hole in a different spot where there wasn't a cinder block, just whatever. So one day I had gotten up in the morning, and I look out the window because my bedroom is in the backyard. Not like literally, but like I can see the backyard from my window. And so I look out the window and I see 4 chickens slide underneath the run. So they dug a new hole, and 4 of them slid underneath the run. And I was like, okay, I'll get them in a minute. Like, I'll just kind of let them free range around. I think the dog was outside, but they do fine with the dog, and she does fine with them. But it was kind of cold outside. So I like went to the bathroom, and I came back and I look out the window again, and I'm like, where are my chickens? So I have 4 breeds, right? And I'm pretty convinced that they sent one from each breed as like a spokesperson. Right. They must have like pulled feathers or something, and whoever had the short feathers in the group went. Except for Sydney Jr., she's my one and only Barred Rock, but she's also the baby of the family. So they sent like one in her place. So I look outside and I'm like, where did they go? So I open the back door, and they're standing there in front of the door. And I'm like, what the heck are you doing? So I walk outside and I walk towards the run, and they come chasing after me. They just follow me towards the run. I open the door. They all run inside the run, and I realized they were out of food. And I was like, they literally sent 4 of the chickens and it's the morning. Like, I was going to check them that day, but they sent 4 of the chickens, and it's freezing outside, to come like basically wait on my doorstep to tell me that they need food.
I was
So-
expecting them to have like little suits and monocles and like a little
a contract.
little envelope to be like, you've been served. Like
Who knows with them? But yeah, and then we have little Sydney Jr., who she's the clingiest of the bunch. She'll follow you around. She likes to be picked up. She loves the dog. So when they do free range outside and I let the dog with them, which I don't do very often, Sydney Jr. follows Savvy around. And they just like she was just accepted very easily into the into the flock. And yeah, she's funny. She's a people chicken. But yeah, so that's my chickens, and that's why I'm obsessed with them, because they are obsessed
You're
with me.
obsessed with
So-
you.
I
They're
don't know
like,
why
oh,
you're
this
so
poor
obsessed with
little Tani. This poor little Tani. We really have to teach her the ways.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Also, I have some friends who have chickens out here, and I learned last week that the lifespan for chickens are only like 2 years. And I had no idea because our chickens never lasted that long.
No.
Because they
Summer Pete always got them, or one of the neighbors letting out one of their sick chickens got them, or the coyotes or foxes got them. Yeah.
like dogs.
That
Yeah.
seems so
Mhm.
short. I feel like either they die by unnatural causes or they live forever.
Mm.
That seems really
Turns
short.
out
to
they
me.
It depends on the breed. A lot of breeds, it's like 3 to 5 years or something.
Oh,
So, but Aaron already, he went to Tractor Supply the other day and he was like, Tawny, they have so many barred rocks. And I was like, don't you dare come home with more chickens, or you get to pick 4 that we're getting rid of. And I don't want to start with babies, so it's not going to happen. Yeah.
For another
I
time.
saw
Great
that.
monster.
I saw this video where it's like, if you give your wife a chicken, she's gonna want a coop. And then it's like, if you give a mouse a cookie, but like the progression, she's gonna want to live on a farm and build her own homestead and blah 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 blah. And but I did send Tawny the one where it's like, if you get chickens, your wife's gonna start baking bread.
I'm actually going to do that today when we're done. I'm going to use my Dutch oven to bake bread for the first time in it.
Way to be a stereotype, Tawny.
Actually, I had Aaron looking at mini Highland cows the other day, and there's this place in Arkansas that sells them for like under 1,000, and I was like, I can do that.
That was part of the if you give a wife a chicken, she's gonna want a cow. And then when she like sits after everything, she's gonna, sit with her chickens, and then she's gonna want more chickens.
Yeah, it's real.
Very cute. Well, thank you for sharing with us your current obsessions. Speaking of obsessions, at the end of March was Tara's birthday. And Tara
Birthday.
has specific parameters when it comes to her birthday. So, Tara, please talk to us about what a birthday for Tara looks like.
Oh gosh. I have never said I'm obsessed with my birthday, but I think a lot of people view it that way. I just take my birthday seriously, truly. And my mom's birthday is at the beginning of the month. So typically, of course, I give respect for that time for her birthday. But then after her birthday passes, it's literally like turns into the rest of the month of March is within the parameters of my birthday. So it's like anything that happens, I essentially like turn it into like, because it's my birthday, because it's my birthday. It's my birthday. So this is why we're doing this for my birthday. Like, I am not ashamed to make it a 3 to 4 week long endeavor, celebration, acknowledgement. And turns out not everybody's like that. So it's been
You do
it's
have a
been
cutoff
over.
period because of Tawny's birthday, though.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
mine
you-
does
I
come
don't
to
go
the
past
picture.
I do not go past March. I stop at March. Like I typically stop after my birthday unless, weekend situations, but I don't go past March. I have respect to keep it within my month, which is why it starts early.
You know what's funny
But
about that, though, real quick, is that we were in Utah one year, and it was around my birthday, And yet we had like a joint celebration for both our birthdays, which was funny. So they like sang to both of us, even though it was closer to my birthday, and it was definitely April.
I mean, well, that's what's crazy. It's like our birthdays are so close together that we've never, that's the first time I think we've celebrated it at the same time.
Oh yeah,
So
no,
that was kind of,
definitely.
yeah,
It was
even though our
cute. I
birthdays
liked
are
it.
literally like a week apart. It's
Yeah.
not that long.
We have the separation of the birthdays.
The separation of the month. So therefore, birthdays are not celebrated together. No, that one was fun. I mean, I just love a birthday anyway, and so I love my birthday. I'm not ashamed. I enjoy celebrating it, and I appreciate the joy that I feel like it helps bring other people to have something to celebrate, you know? It doesn't have to be about me, but I
I
use
feel
it.
like you've done a really good job at making your birthday work for you. Like I never realized the amount of free things you could get for just being born on a certain day until I was
Mhm.
living with Tara. And she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to stop here and here and here and here and here and here and here to get my things." And I was like, "What in the?" So please
The
talk to us
yeah,
about how you cultivated that.
Yes, tell us about
yeah.
those birthday freebies.
Let me tell you, and that's the funny thing about making it longer than just the day is because the businesses out there recognize that they can get you in and give you free stuff. And most things they it's like all month long where you get discounts, freebies, all this stuff. There's very few things that's just on your birthday. But it's your birthday, you celebrate it. You want other people to be like, "Oh, it's your free birthday thing. Here you go," and acknowledge your birthday. And yeah, it's not like I've started this. Other businesses did it. They are the ones who encourage your birthday as well. So, I mean, my top ones have always been like Starbucks. They give you a free drink on your birthday, which is legit because it can be like any size. It doesn't have to be like a specific size. So there's
That's
that.
nice.
Don't sell yourself short on that one. And it just depends on where I've lived. So the birthday freebies have changed over the years, but I always kind of like seek it out with a place that I really like if they give me discounts or freebies on my birthday. And here in Michigan, one of my favorite things is they have a pie place here. They sell like breakfast and lunch, and they do like special pies. And they will
And it's
give
so
you a
good.
free, yeah, they'll give you a free slice of pie or like their mini like 6-inch pie for your birthday, like a free mini pie. And they're like
Amazing.
legit.
Their pies
So
are
there's
so good. We made sure to make a stop there when we went.
What is this pie place called? Don't gatekeep. Don't be shy.
yeah, shout out to my friend Wanda who introduced me to them. And it is called Grand Traverse Pie Company. And yeah, they're in multiple places in Michigan, but they have a good pie. It's really satisfying. I've never really been a pie person until these like free pies, and now I'm just like, yeah, I'm really down with it. I've gradually over the years become a pie person. Don't get me
As the
wrong.
person who always insists Dad makes the chocolate walnut pie.
That's a very
That's-
specific dessert, though. It's
it's
not
a
just like all
specific
pie.
treat. Yeah, I don't think I eat pie outside of that though. I already didn't eat pie outside of that. But this place, they do such good pies. What else do we got? There's always like free desserts at like any restaurant. One of my favorite places to eat used to give like free entrees, but that's only in California. I always get discounts from all my favorite retailers. So where I shop, like there's always like 10, 15, like 35% off, like literally so much options. And I usually always get a free like use those discounts to get myself an outfit or new jewelry, things like that. Like
And girl
I got
math
my
said that you save money.
True. This is true because it rhymes.
yeah, because you always want to like treat yourself, for like a birthday outfit. And so you just, take what those retailers offer. Let's see. What else do we get?
You sent me a gift card last year for my birthday to Sephora, and that was the first time that I've gotten
Mhm.
like a free little birthday gift at Sephora. I didn't know they did that, and it was amazing.
Really? Yeah, I think Ulta does
Yes.
it too. Sephora and Ulta.
Yes. Thank you for that reminder. Yeah. Free, like Ulta gives you a free little pack of something. You get free popcorn at the theater. So if you go see a movie, you get a free large popcorn, which is legit because these days popcorn ain't cheap. I mean, and you don't even have to go to a movie. You can just like grab popcorn and watch a movie at home, which is nice. Turns out people do movie theater popcorn just because. But yeah, I literally do my rounds. I do my rounds for my birthday and it's satisfying and that's why I feel like I never have to worry about it being enjoyable because you get free stuff, like so much free stuff. So I highly
I just
recommend look at your favorite places and see if they offer you birthday things.
I need you, Tara, to 1 year just go out collecting all of your birthday freebie things and get like a ton of bags and just like
Do a reveal.
do like a yeah, like a shopping spree, but all of it was free.
Oh my God.
Gosh. Honestly, like and the thing is with the amount of um like restaurants that do free food, I would literally just have to like throw a party and it would be like so much food because I couldn't eat it all in one day. So yeah, if I had someone to take care of the food with me, then I could do that. But yeah, I think one of my favorite things in California was this place called Rubio's, and their shrimp tacos were my absolute favorite. And you could literally get a free shrimp tacos on your birthday, which
Wow.
they were so good. Yeah, so good.
I wonder if
Put on
Tractors
it.
Supply will give me a free chicken. Okay.
Maybe. I mean, you could just literally ask and they probably would do it because that's the other thing. If you tell people it's your birthday, like, oh, that's what it was at the Brazilian grills, like Tucanos, they do free, you get the whole meal free. And that's like
What?
legit. Yeah, you get your whole meal free for your birthday.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
expensive too.
Exactly. I'm still signed up for it, even though I don't have one around there, just in case I like end up in an area for my birthday. And then I'm like, we're going to Tucanos because you don't have to pay for me. Yeah. So it's not just me. It's the universe. The universe wants you to celebrate your birthday, guys.
This is true. And like the thing is that most people eat food in this world. So like if you have no other reason to celebrate your birthday, do it for the food. Do it for the food.
Mhm.
But Tara has all like had the divine youthfulness of our mother. And when I was living with her, people couldn't tell who was the older person. And so she has definitely um, just had that
To Teddy's high and
gracefulness in aging. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. My feelings weren't hurt at all. It was fine. but but please do share what it's like having, from being in your 20s to now being in your 30s and what that's been like for you and any tips that you have on making that transition
And staying young.
and staying young.
I mean, and what's so funny is I know that I have a very different routine compared to our mom. So mine requires a bit more upkeep than mom has ever had to put into it. I mean, if she did put more upkeep into it, then she definitely would probably look like a sister, which would be
She would reverse
probably
age.
frustrating.
Very Benjamin Button.
I mean, and that's just what's funny about like being in your 20s versus anytime after your 20s is the amount of upkeep like changes. And I think I was always aware of influencers or like beauty insiders or whatever who would talk about, as you age, you have to take care of these things or like focus on this. And so I realized at like a mid-20s that I really disliked buying makeup to cover up like issues. And it just made more sense to start focusing on like skincare and like gut health and things like that. Like taking your vitamins is so important. And, they say sunscreen. I have yet to figure out the sunscreen thing for sure if that's real or not, but no, just kidding. But literally just like I've always been a big spa day person. Like we would do like mini spa days at home with my sisters. I'd force them to do masks even though they're like children and they didn't need it. But I like trained with you guys. Like I helped you guys train each other and me to start like taking care of your skin and your hair and things like that. And so I'm a big believer in face products for men and women. So even men, like take care of your skin. Don't just use a soapy soap. Like you get on that serum, you get on that moisturizer, you do the roller on your face, keep that skin tapped, And that's a big thing in my 20s that I started, and I started investing in it. So you don't just buy, you make sure to read the ingredients. You don't just buy the cheapest thing. You pay attention to what your body reacts to, your skin reacts to, because everybody's skin is so different. And you start a regime. I definitely I like to try different products. And then there are a couple of staples that I use, but I'm pretty open to like trying different products. When one thing runs out, then I try a different, if it's not like something that I swear by.
So not to make you, remember all these on the spot, but what are your main go-tos that you use then?
For skincare, I always use I am a big face washer. I've always used face wash, like always. And then I do a serum, usually for the daytime. I do like a vitamin C or just some sort of uplifting serum, usually like a clear serum or something like that. And that's another thing about, the freebies and stuff is like, if you're intimidated by skincare or makeup, you just choose like a brand or a store that sells makeup and you invest in that because they give back, and it makes it less intimidating to walk in because you start to get the lay of the land and know what products and brands they sell and things like that. So that's really important too. And my main go-to is usually Sephora. And so I do a serum, and then these as I get older and I don't get my beauty sleep quite as I used to. I definitely have invested in like an eye cream as well. And I like to use like the refreshing, like waking up eye cream. So I use like Tula, that brand. It's just like the stick, which is so much easier than having to always cover your hands in oils and stuff. And then I do an eye roller and I moisturize. I just bought a moisturizer with an SPF, and like the moisturizing factor is insufficient. So at this point, I'm just like, still, if anybody knows a good SPF moisturizer that actually moisturizes, let me know.
I really like Neutrogena. They have their Hydro Boost. So I have like the regular kind, and then I also have the Hydro Boost with SPF. So if I know I'm going to be in the sun, then I'll put that on. But if not, then I just have my regular because it does kind of smell like sunscreen a little bit. But personally, that's what I use. And I really like it. They also have a face wash, the same kind, like the same like brand and color and everything, the Hydro Boost face wash. And so I like to use those in tandem, and it works for me personally.
Nice.
My favorite thing is, I mean, what we really need to do is get into like the Korean products, but I really like it's like a whole like a water mask thing for your face.
Oh yeah.
And it's like the most hydrating
That's nice.
I've ever felt. And yeah, I need to look at
Yeah. Oh my gosh, masks are like literally my favorite thing to do. I use like clay masks. I'll do an enzyme exfoliator is really good to do for your skin. but you have to make sure to not use it all the time and use it certain times of your month, if you know what I'm saying. And um yeah, I've always been a big face mask person, and I love it. It's just fun and feels so refreshing. I feel like I don't need it as much these days, but it was unnecessary when I was in my 20s for sure. And yeah, I personally use a night oil when I go to bed. I know a lot of people don't like oils, but I found an oil that I swear by, and I won't tell because it's sometimes hard to get what it is. I won't keep that one to myself.
Supply and demand. Sorry, everyone.
She is gatekeeping this and is not sorry about
We'll
it.
gatekeep it. If you want the secret separately, if you like an oil at night, then this one. And it's funny because it smells like alfalfa fields to me, which is weird, but it does the job. Yeah, and also just like taking care of your hair. I have gotten down to the point where I wash my hair like max twice a week. Usually once because I'm lazy, but like max twice a week. And I think that helps with as you age, that helps with your skin. I think like a lot younger, you should probably wash your hair more because you're doing more with your hair usually. But as I've aged, I've gotten down to once or twice a week, and my hair thrives. It's like the bounciest, curliest, natural it's ever been.
And speaking of, wash your pillowcases. If you're not washing your hair and you want to keep your face clean, wash your pillowcases and your sheets.
I also use a satin silk pillowcase always that I use, and that has helped my hair and my skin a lot. So I highly recommend that as well. It's crazy. Like, just as you age, you change, and you have to be able to adapt to that change, which is why I'm usually okay changing up the brands or products that I use, because your body just changes so much from your 20s to your 30s. It's a nightmare, kind of. You're like, I just got a handle on it, and then it changes.
Do you feel like you thrive with aging, or do you feel like you wish that you could go back?
I think mom could tell you, like, I've always been like, when I grow up, as I grow up, like, I love aging, like, literally. I love getting older. I love every year. I love not going back the same age. And one time I was talking to someone and they're like, does it scare you to like get older? And I was like, absolutely not. And it was like this older guy. And he's like, whoa, you're the first person who's like said that. And I'm like, I don't need to stay still. I don't need to be stale. I don't need to be sitting in some prime as if like that's as good as it's gonna get. No way. I love getting older. I never want to go back. I want to keep going. I can't wait. I could live forever and be happy with it.
Like a tortoise, like a sulcata tortoise.
Like my tortoise.
In your 30s and still young.
I know, it's so funny because they're like, you're so old. And I'm like, I'm literally not even halfway through a normal age life. So
my teenage girls tell me that. I'm not a mom. My youth teenage girls that I teach tell me that. They're like, oh, you're old. And I'm like, okay, just wait until you're in your 20s.
I'm not even close to being
old.
old.
Know that you, in fact, are not old. I am old enough to drive. I'm old enough to buy a house. I'm old enough to get a rental car. Can you know?
I know. When I was 25 and I would be like sitting next to 18, 19-year-olds and they're like, how old are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm 25. And they're like, oh my gosh, I totally thought you were like so much younger. I thought you were like 19. And I was like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. And I was like, how is 25 old to you? But now I'm just like, you know what? Like, I am glad I'm not 19 anymore. I'm turning 29 and it was a really fun age, but I feel like for me, I have these ages that I just look forward to hitting, and that has helped me not fight against the aging process because I was just like, when I was 10, I was excited to be 13, and then I was excited to be 17, and then I was excited to be 21 and then 25 and 27, and now my dream age is actually 80 years old. So that's the age that I aspire to is 80. But in the meantime, there's a bit of a road ahead of me, so I have to get
A little
excited
bit.
about other ages.
You have a
And the
few years.
yeah, and as like a middle or one of Tawny and I being in the younger spectrum of the kids in our family,
Our
we
label
have
was the 3 youngest.
the three youngest. We we had these older siblings who never seemed old, right? They were no matter what age they
Mhm.
are, they're always just young. So as we age, we feel young too.
Yeah. Because we don't have that like sense of, oh, because you're in your, 20s, you're now old. Because it's like, oh, now you're doing all these cool things in your 20s, and I want to be that cool. So it
And when you're
definitely.
in your 30s, apparently you buy houses. So I'm looking forward to that, you know?
Yeah, I think it
Oh my
definitely helps.
god.
Like I appreciate having older siblings for many reasons. One of like that being one of them. And then also even with Tara, I mean, I was asking her one day, I was like, oh, tell me about like what do you use for makeup? Because I've never been a big makeup person. And she's like, well, I actually just use skincare. So now I was like, well, if Tara's doing skincare, then I'm gonna do skincare too. So I figured out my skincare regimen. And then I was like, tell me what kind of hair care products you use. And she was like, I only wash my hair a couple times a week. And I was like, well, then I'm only gonna wash my hair a couple times a week too. So it definitely helps me to see my older sisters and see what you guys trial and error with. And, I get to trial and error myself, just a little bit more educated, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we're not scared of the unknown because we see you guys doing it. And so it's we definitely have an advantage. So it's also really cool for you as the oldest daughter to have just embraced getting older in the way that you have. Whereas
Mhm.
like I feel like it was definitely very, very trendy and common for like our parents' generation to really reject aging.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
also
and
they
that's
had all these kids that they were raising throughout it, and we don't.
yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and that's what's crazy. When the first of like my gray hairs popped out, I was like, why? What is this from? I don't have children. I'm not like overly stressed like a other adults. So like where is this coming from? But turns out it just happens. There was stress in my life, but didn't think it meant there would be gray hairs. So that's my secret. I do have some gray hairs. But that's always been a mindset that I've had like as people would always be like, "Oh my gosh, I used to babysit you and now you're getting married. Like, I feel so old." I've literally never said that because I'm like, "Oh, look at you. You're getting older. I'm the same, but you're getting older. I'm not the one getting older. You're getting older. You're aging. I'm still doing my thing." And even though I love getting older, but it doesn't make me feel old to see other people getting older. Like, it's a weird concept to me, but it's a thing people say. So no hate on them. I think when I was gonna turn 30, like Teddy was saying, like you look forward to certain milestone ages. And I was so ready for my dirty 30. And I was like, that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be awesome. And I'm gonna just like make the most of like the world. But I turned 30 in March of 2020, which for everybody who doesn't remember, literally the world shut down within like 2 weeks of my birthday. I had
Yeah.
so many plans. I was going to travel outside the US for the first time. I had so many things going on. Everything stopped. And it really made me struggle a little bit about my 30s because I was like, I mean, they told us it wasn't gonna last very long, the shutdown. So we all had hope, but it lasted so long that I feel like this year is my first real year of my 30s because I feel like the last few years of my 30s was just like stolen from me.
it was just
And
you stuck at 29 for 3 years.
yeah, yeah, it was like this is the age that they're telling me I am, but it feels like I haven't been able to do any of the things that I planned on doing when I turned to my 30s decade. So I decided that, my whole 30s decade will be dirty 30, not just that 1 year. And we will dirty 30 the whole decade to my satisfaction.
She'll be the dirtiest 30th.
The dirtiest of
Dirty and
dirtiest.
thriving.
To the point where, like, because that happened to me, I feel like I want to help my siblings bring in their 30s to their most fulfilled. And that's kind of become like my goal. Like, I want to make sure that you guys never have to deal with every time I overhype a birthday like milestone, it ends up being a big flop. So yeah, even though I love my birthday, it like always ends up struggling more than it should. But that's also been a lesson to like calm down off of my birthday as well.
I was watching like I feel like as I'm getting older, this is just becoming more of a relatable line. But in Pride and Prejudice, there's a line that Elizabeth says, and again, she's like 20 years old when she says this, right? Giving this perspective. And she's just like, the more that I see of the world, the more I am dissatisfied with it. And I definitely feel that as far as, the world can be a real crappy place. And so you can get pretty dissatisfied with the world. And for you, the world literally clapped back at you as soon as you crossed the decade.
Yeah.
But I've also felt, and maybe this is just like the narcissistic side of my personality, but I feel the less satisfied I feel with the world, the more satisfied I feel with myself. So it's really interesting to
You're like,
know.
turns out I am better than everybody.
But it's like, if the world sucks this much, I must be doing pretty okay. It's basically what it is.
Compared to the rest of you, my life is not that bad.
And I feel like the cool thing about aging is that you really, really come into your own over the years in experience and in wisdom. It really does happen. Not everyone does that, which is probably why people have such a hard time aging, because they don't feel more satisfied with themselves or feel more fulfilled. So that's like a very, very cool thing to see when people do have that strong sense of self, and so they feel good. They feel better knowing that they just made it through another year of struggles, right? And they came out on the other end. And that's, again, another reason why I love birthdays. Well,
Well, and going along with that too, I mean, a lot of it is people waiting until they're a certain age to do things versus we're the kind of people who are like, well, I want to do this, so I'm just going to do it. I don't need a special occasion to celebrate or to learn something new or whatever. And so it's exciting for us to be like, oh, cool. Like, looking back on the year when we have our birthday and be like, oh, I accomplished these things. What am I going to accomplish this year now? Instead of I'm waiting to be this age to accomplish this thing. Or crap, another year went by and I didn't accomplish what I wanted to accomplish, is we're very good at doing those things. Because I mean, as we learned with the episode with our dad, he was like, he's seeing other people do these things and telling these stories about these things they allegedly do, and he says, that's cool, I want to go do it too. And we definitely got a lot of that, looking at something being like, that's cool, I want to do it too, and then we go and actually do it. So we have the ability to look back of the year and be proud of the things that we've done, or look back and be like, hey, that was not my best year, but I learned a lot and we're not going to repeat it this year. So definitely changes things.
Absolutely. And it's funny because buying a house last year is one of those things that they're like, oh, people say they do this thing, and then I do it. And I was like, this isn't at all what the people said they were doing. Like, I feel like there's so much like hidden agendas with like purchasing a house. And I totally believe you should do it. Absolutely. And I'm glad I did, but I would have such a different mindset about it going into it next time. Like, it is not what they say on.
Yeah, they really don't tell you everything.
on so many different
And I don't
levels.
know why realtors keep asking us if you have some family member who can just give you $10,000. No.
I know.
No.
See,
Stop
yeah,
asking that question because the answer is no.
Like if they could
Not
have, they would
everyone,
have already.
not
I would
everyone
tell you if
spent
I
the
had that put
90s
down.
creating that generational wealth. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny going back to your first question, Teddy, about like the age situation. I remember having this conversation with my team at work, and it was like, a would you rather? Would you rather never age but die young, or would you rather still age but live forever? And I felt like I was the only person, like, it's fine, whatever you want to do. If you don't want to live this life, you don't have to live this life. But I feel like I was the only person who was like, I would rather live forever. And aging is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, you'll obviously adjust your age to a forever living as well. Um, but it's like, I I love living this life. It's hard, it's exhausting, but it's also fulfilling and amazing, and there's just so much you can get out of it. There's so much to see, there's so much to experience. Not that I'm like that big of a people person, but there's things besides people to experience, and it's it's a good life if you choose to live a good life. It's just all your choice. But if you don't want to, you can stay young and you can never age and die young. That's fine too. That's your choice. But if you need a different perspective in life, like honestly, be excited to age. Like Teddy was saying, look forward to those milestones and make things happen for yourself, or just have a more optimistic look on hard days to look back, at least, make accomplishments, find something that helps you. I literally make a list every year. So I have like a list since I graduated high school, I think, of something big that I accomplished that year. And I literally write down what I accomplished that year every year when I look
That's
back.
really cool.
what a nice little tradition. I love that. And I love how, um, like growing up, it is a flex because it's not guaranteed. We're all mortal. It's just
Mhm.
not guaranteed. And so it's definitely it's a blessing. And when people younger than you are making fun of how much older you are, it's just not an insult because they haven't been your age, but you've been their age.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and the thing is that one day they'll be your age. And so it's
Believe
just
you
like
me, kid, I'm better here than you are there.
I mean,
so
it
it
could be
just
like my situation in life compared to other people my age, but I feel like a lot of people get like that, oh, you're old. But I honestly more often get like, wow, you're that old? Like, I didn't expect that. I definitely get that reaction a lot more. Probably just because, like, I'm not upset about getting old. I'm not
you
upset
have
about my
the
age.
youthful exuberance still just
I
spanning
guess.
your spirit.
I suppose.
Well, Tara, thank you so much for your wisdom. You are crushing your early 30s, and we love seeing what's to come for, you know, every year.
We love
Uh,
seeing the bar that you set and what we need to do to reach it.
And how
Oh,
you and
thanks.
our older brothers compete with each other in those things.
Our last competition turns out was a little bit of house renovation, which cracks me up.
No,
But
but
yeah,
you guys,
cheers to making it to 30s, you guys. Let's do it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we're not there yet, but I'm kidding.
Yeah, Ben.
We're still in our
Let's do
20s.
it though. I'll be here. I'll be here to welcome you in.
There's just waiting on the other side.
You
Yeah.
have a few years to plan my dirty 30. So
Don't worry. I know.
I have a
invest
few
in
ideas.
kids.
Fine. We'll probably go to Machu Picchu now or something. It's gonna be cool.
Yes.
But there's a whole nother year before that. So so Malachi, if you're listening, be prepared. Prepare the others.
Prepare the troops.
That's on we ride.
But yeah, so if you get anything from this episode, just know that aging is a gift for you and you can thrive in
Really.
it and you can become more yourself as you get older. And don't forget to sign up for those free birthday things. Go on a shopping spree where you pay nothing.
Mhm.
Or slightly less than you would have.
This has been another episode of Wild&T. Love you. Bye.
Love you.
Love you, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Wild&T. This podcast episode was produced and edited by Teddy Chanpoon, Kyron Maciel, and Dallas Hanson. Remember to subscribe, rate, review, and of course, share with your sisters. For more content, you can follow Wild&T on all platforms or our individual socials. See you next week.